So I recently got my hands on Nickelodeon's All-Star Brawl 2, and I thought this might be a good opportunity to try a new type of video on this channel and maybe resurrect it and maybe do more things, who knows. So here is a quick review slash first impressions of the new game. All-Star Brawl is Nickelodeon's version of Nintendo's Smash Brothers series. If you don't know what that is, then it either means that you're a little baby, or you've been living under a rock, or you just didn't grow up with a Wii. The difference being that this is a big old crossover for Nickelodeon's characters. So we've got SpongeBob, Danny Phantom, and that kind of thing. It's a pretty simple premise, and despite that, I have complicated thoughts. Now, despite being 1200 years old, this is actually the first time I've ever played a Smash Brothers type myself, so I put myself in the shoes of the kind of person that I would assume is the demographic of this game. Looking at it from Nickelodeon's perspective, I would assume that this is a game made for people who, you know, like SpongeBob, also known as, generally, children. I was quite surprised to find that it's kind of not that at all. I was really excited to get my hands on a Smash Brothers game. I never grew up with a Wii or any kind of Nintendo other than a Game Boy, so this was my first chance to play something like this. Yes, I've also never played Zelda, I'm so sorry. While you might assume that this is a game for babies, you're gonna have to put me in that list of big babies because I cannot play this game. I didn't enjoy it, I didn't have a fun time with it. The game starts really slowly, with very basic tutorials like how to jump and punch. I feel like that should be straightforward enough, but pretty soon afterwards we jump straight into fighting against, you know, CPUs that are super difficult. I'm not saying the game is hard and that's why it's bad. I think that the difficulty is fine, but when you combine the difficulty, for me, a grown person, you know, I'm big, I'm 6 foot, combine that with an aesthetic that feels like it's supposed to be for children, with repeated dialogue that you get all the time, it just makes it feel muddled. And I don't know who this is actually for. And to be fair, when it comes to fighting games, I'm no slouch. I've been playing Tekken since I was a little baby amiiboid. I've always been a fan of that kind of flowing, kinetic fighting. Whereas for me, this kind of felt more like a video game version of like Rock'em Sock'em Robots, you know, like you just kind of punch the buttons and then people fall over or fall off the screen or whatever. I really couldn't connect with the game itself. I didn't feel like it was engaging in any real way. You might say, Toby, it's not meant to be engaging, but I would beg to differ. I feel like every single fighting game like this should have that lean forward moment, the moment when you're like, hang on, I need to beat this, you know, and it just didn't really have that for me. But Toby, you're being too harsh, you're being unfair. The first game was much more easy to get on board with. This is a sequel, you should have played the first one if you wanted that one, and that might be true. That could be the case. But to you, I say, oh. I feel like the appeal of this game should be the big cast of characters, you know, the nostalgia factor of the Nickelodeon roster. But it feels like it's really focusing on nostalgia. You've got playable characters like Ren and Stimpy, the Angry Beavers, and Grandma Bloody Gertie. Now, if you know who these people are, I feel like you shouldn't be the people that it's advertising to. I feel like the game wants to be for young'uns, but it feels like it's got a cast of characters that only people from the 90s are gonna know. I feel like if you were born after 2004, you won't know who any of those people that I just mentioned even are, let alone want to play a game where they fight each other. Ultimately, I think this is a game that was designed exclusively for 90s babies that grew up watching Hey Arnold, whilst also playing Super Smash Brothers on their N64. And that's fine, but I think that it could have been a lot more than that. I feel like this is a game that could have had a really mass audience and it just lets itself down. From a first-time player, I slid off it in a couple of hours. Not even that, I think I slid off it in about 40 minutes. So, for me, I'm gonna give this a 3 out of 10. I don't know if I'm gonna give these all out of 10s, but there you go. Thank you so much for watching this. It's kind of a weird new thing that I want to do. It's called creating content. Please let me know what you thought and leave a comment and things that help the algorithm, please, and subscribe and all of that stuff, please, please, please. And I will see you again soon with another one of these. I'm going to do a few of these, and then if you hate them, I'll stop. Love you, bye!